Hello YouTube. This video is the first part of a long stream of videos that I refer to as Questioning Christianity. Now, as many of you may know, all of my videos are really, in a nutshell, self-centered. I was looking over some videos that I had done the other day, and I realized these videos are completely self-centered. All I'm doing is getting on camera and rambling on about my own personal problems and my own personal bullshit. And I'm amazed, and I really appreciate it, but I'm amazed that you guys haven't been posting comments like, who the fuck cares about your problems? You know, I don't even care about my problems, to be honest with you, and if I don't care, how could I possibly expect anyone else to care? So from now on, these videos will no longer consist of me rambling on about my own personal problems. These videos will now consist of different topics. Now, as you may know, I have always claimed the Visual Circle Church does not believe in criticism of other people's religions. However, we have been criticized a lot lately by a lot of Christian groups. So, I want to keep in mind that this criticism topic is not representation of my church. It's not representative of my church. 90% of my members are atheistic, so I don't think they'll be offended by this, but I do want you to keep in mind that I'm not exactly condemning Christianity. I'm just trying to make a few points, because a lot of people have been getting onto my church lately for whatever reason, and most of those people are Christians. And, this whole video is about the concept of Christianity. Now, first off, I was raised as a Christian. I grew up in a very Christian household. My grandparents raised me. They taught me the Bible. They taught me that Jesus was Lord. So I grew up all of my life believing in Christianity. I never once doubted the existence of God, the Christian version of God. However, as I got older, I just couldn't morph the concepts of the Bible into what science said. For instance, the Bible seems to say that the world has only existed for 6,000 years, but we know this to be untrue because of the scientific evidence, the existence of the dinosaurs. All of these elements cannot simply be ignored, and that's what a lot of fundamentalists choose to do. They just choose to ignore the evidence. Now, I've never done this before, but I'm going to admit what my religion is. I don't have a set religion, but I do believe in God. I believe in the existence of God. However, I do not believe in the Bible's version of God. I believe that God is an entity whose existence could not possibly be put down on paper. And I respect the atheist's point of view, but I'm not exactly an atheist. But when it comes to the Bible, I am on the atheist's side completely and entirely. Because if there's one thing we know about a reality, it's that things do not just happen. So I believe that there was an entity that created the world and the universe. I don't know who he is, I don't know what he is. My best bet would be that he's an alien. That we're all just a big ant farm for a higher power whose existence we could not possibly begin to comprehend. But my beliefs aside, you know, let's talk about the Christian concept here. And I'm not being hypocritical, I'm just stating the facts. First off, Christians say that everyone who doesn't believe in God is going to go to hell. Alright, I have a problem with this idea because, first off, how can you love something that you've never seen before? That's the same concept as me saying, I love John Edwards. I don't know who John Edwards is, but I know there's a John Edwards on the face of this earth, and I love him. I don't know who he is, but I love him. And even that put aside, at what point can you say that you truly believe in God? You can't tell me that every single person who says they believe in God hasn't at one point in their life doubted Him. So would God consider that to be non-belief? At what point is your belief genuine? No one really knows. And what about all the people that are born without the mental capacity to believe in God? The Bible doesn't say anything about them not going to heaven or hell, and most people will say, well, they're just blessed. God just takes them into account. Where does it say that? Where does it say that people who do not have the mental capacity to believe in God are going to heaven, that they're already blessed? Where does it say that? Where does it say that babies who have not yet developed the mental capacity to believe or accept God are going to heaven? It doesn't say that anywhere in the Bible, so how do we know it to be true? People will take parts of the Bible that are easy to understand and are convenient and say, this is what the Bible says, but when it comes to parts of the Bible that may sound a little fascist, that may sound a little, you know, unlike what a holy, good God would do, We just say, oh, we don't understand everything, but we know that the Bible could not possibly mean that. Who are you to say? The Bible was not found out in the woods on a pedestal by some holy man 2,000 years ago. It was written by men. And my grandfather always told me that God put in those people's minds what to write. Well, that means that I could sit down and say, okay, God told me what to write, and scribble a bunch of shit down on a piece of paper, and there you have it. That's the second Bible. That's the same concept. And I'm just trying to open up the eyes of the Christians. Now, Christianity can be a great religion. Those people who truly believe in the Bible are some of the best people you could ever meet. My grandfather believes in God all the way, the Bible's version of God. He's the best person you could ever meet. But there are, like every other thing else in the world, there are bad Christians. And these bad Christians are people that are hypocrites and try to condemn other people, especially atheists. And they say that, and I once heard a Christian preacher say, I have as much right to be right as you do to be wrong. And I'm thinking, do you think that anybody who believes in other religions thinks that their religion is wrong? They think that they're just as right as you are. And another thing that bothers me is the concept of hell. People say that God doesn't send people to hell, they send themselves. But if you believe that God created everything, you must believe that God created hell. So, I mean, how else can you rationalize that? You can't rationalize your way out of that. That's the same concept as me taking a gun, putting it to a woman's head and saying, if you don't love me, I'm going to shoot your fucking brains out. And then taking it a step further and saying, if I do shoot your brains out because you didn't love me, it's your fault. You did it to yourself. I didn't do it. You didn't take the choice that I gave you, so it's your fault. It's the same concept. And the people that do love God do not love God because they want to go to heaven. They love Him because they don't want to go to hell, and because they want to go to heaven. So they're loving God out of purely selfish reasons. Because if there was no heaven and hell, what would be the incentive to believe in God? And that's just the bottom point. And we'll continue this argument in the next video, which will be part 2 of the Christian concept.